The name is Dale. I'm here to do the reviews of Black Panther, the Netflix series The Punisher, Retribution, that's actually on Netflix, Active Shooter, America Under Fire, and Word is Bond. So I'm going to go in deep today. I'm not a professional critic. I don't get invited to press screenings or free screenings. So this is going to be late. You had a lot of reviews for the movie before it was actually available to the public. And you had a lot of reviews right after the movie was available for the public to go see at the theater. I went to go see it the first weekend, but I didn't actually have time to do the review until like 7 days later. And then when I send this to Audio Liquor Magazine, the turnaround might be 4 or 5 days after that. So this review is going to be late, but I'm going to do the review anyway. There's a lot of hype for this movie, a lot of love, a lot of marketing, good marketing by Marvel and Disney for this movie. This is a movie that has a big budget, where the cast is mostly African American. Or African, because you have some Africans in it as well. So there's a lot of love for this movie, and it deserves all the love that it's getting. You know, it has black empowerment, black pride, pride in the motherland, pride in Africa. So I dig all that. But I'm going to push all that to the side. I'm just going to review it from the viewpoint of it being a movie. I'm going to try not to get too influenced by all the love and all the praise that it's getting. I just want to review it as a movie. Now, I didn't collect Black Panther comics growing up. I was a heavy comic book collector. I stopped collecting comic books like in my early 20s. Not because I thought I was too old for comic books, but you know, life gets in the way, you get responsibilities, you don't have the money to buy all these different issues and buy all these comic books with different characters in it. So, but I still had love for comic books and graphic novels and all that. So I love how all these movies are coming out. I try to go see all of them. I don't like all of them, but for the most part, I dig them. Now, what tripped me out, I actually thought the Black Panther comic book character was created in the early 70s. But my cousin AJ and my mother corrected me and said the character was actually made his first appearance in 1966. So that blew my mind. That's something I should have known. So shame on me for not knowing that, and shame on me for not collecting Black Panther comic books when I was growing up. But anyway. So I actually thought Stan Lee and Kirby got their idea and got their creation for Black Panther from the actual Black Panther Party, the Revolutionary Black Panther Party. But this comic book character predates the actual Black Panther Party. So that tripped me out. That's something I didn't know. That's crazy. And you know, I hear a lot of people saying that this is the first major black superhero movie. No, I don't think so. It's Blade. The Blade movies. Blade is an actual comic book character from Marvel. And it was done by a big studio. Now that was made in the late 90s and early 2000s. So it didn't have the budget, not nearly the budget that Black Panther has, but it had a decent budget for the time that it came out. And I'm not going to even count Meteor Man, Blank Man, and Steel, the Star Shack. I'm not counting those. But Blade to me is the first. But anyway, Ryan Coogler is the director of Black Panther, the movie. And he's hitting all his free throws right now. He's on point. He's doing his thing. He has 3 movies, I believe, and all of them are good. Fruitvale Station, Creed, now he got Black Panther. So he's doing a good job directing. And for those who haven't seen the movie or don't know what the movie's about, it's about Black Panther, T'Challa. That's the character's name. This is when he first becomes a king of Wakanda. Wakanda is a nation in Africa. It's not an actual place in Africa. And this is a rise of a king story. And through his rise, you get family mistakes and family secrets come out that cause conflict during this time where he's just becoming king. And you have Chadwick Boseman, who actually plays Black Panther, and I think that's almost perfect casting. He does a good job. And you have Michael B. Jordan, who plays the villain. And I like his backstory and his reasons for doing what he's doing. You understand why he's doing what he's doing. And he's a good villain. Usually with these Marvel movies, the villains are just there. But he actually has a purpose, and you can understand why he's doing what he's doing. But a friend of mine, Anthony, AG, he thought that the character was a little too street, a little too thuggish. He believed he went over the top, being that he had so much training and education coming up. The personality didn't match with his training and education that they said he had received. And I really didn't think that when I was watching the movie, but when he made that point, I said, yeah, you're right. He was kind of little, he reminded me of some dudes around here. There was some dude to be at the gas station on the subway. He ain't really, that really didn't fit. He said that threw him all, but I didn't have a problem with it, obviously, when I was watching it, but when he said it, I kind of understand where he was coming from. But anyway, he's one of the better villains in the Marvel Universe, the MCU. And this movie has some James Bond elements to it. His younger sister, Black Panther young sister, reminds me of a black female Q. Q is a character from the James Bond movies. And she makes all his gadgets, come up with all his weaponry and suits and all that. And she's very smart. And Wakanda is an isolated nation in Africa. This high tech. They're very technically advanced. They got technology that other nations don't have. And she's like the queen of that. And I thought the women in this movie made this movie. I thought they elevated this movie. You got Denai, who plays Michonne on The Walking Dead. She's like the leader of this military guard that's like the protectors of Wakanda. And it's all women. And they all like Grace Jones. I thought that was tight. I thought that was a good idea. I love that idea. And then you have Lupita, who plays Black Panther's love interest, but also she's like a spy. So the women do their thing in here. They just not damsels in distress. They have a strong purpose, and they elevate this movie. And the one that plays his sister, she's funny. She has a lot of clever jokes, and she keeps the movie rolling. So my problem with the movie, I thought some of the special effects and CGI was a little off. They have this big battle at the end where, I don't want to spoil it, but they bring in some creatures or animals, and I'm like, that they don't look real. They kind of went too far there. It kind of threw me off. It didn't ruin the movie. I was like, oh, come on now. And the fight scenes were hit or miss. The final fight scene was kind of weak. I'll say it was kind of weak. I thought the best fight scenes were when someone would challenge Black Panther for the king. Because remember, he's just becoming the king, and they have a tradition where if somebody feels he's not worthy, they can challenge him. So you had two different challenges for the kingdom, so to speak, and I thought those were the best fights out of all. But given that, I still would give this movie a B+. I know some people saying, "Oh, you crazy! This is a classic. This is A grade, no less than an A- grade." Well, this is my opinion. I actually thought Thor Ragnarok was a little bit better. I thought it was a little more entertaining. I actually thought Doctor Strange was better in certain ways. Not totally better, but better in certain ways. especially with the special effects. I enjoy Ant-Man a little bit better. Now, it's definitely not on the level of Civil War or Winter Soldier. Those are classics. You know, it's better than the first 2 Thor movies. It's better than the first Captain America movie. It might be better than 2 of the Iron Man movies. So, you know, it's kind of right in the middle. You know, I think it's maybe a little better than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So, you know, it's right in there. It's not, you know, it's not near the bottom, of course. But I'm not as high on this movie as everyone else is. I like it. I dig it. You know, if you going to the movie theater to see this 3 times, I don't blame you. Enjoy. Now, I'm going to try to make these other reviews short. You know, I went real long on the Black Panther, so I'm going to try to make these recommendations / reviews shorter. Try to make them quick as possible, but also give you enough information where you can gauge and you see these different programs and series and all that. So basically, being that I did the Black Panther review, I felt it was only right to do the Netflix series for The Punisher. He's also based off a Marvel comic book character. Now, this is 13 episodes. It's only on Netflix. And I love this series. I really dig this series. And they actually dropped all 13 episodes like last year in November. I believe I saw all episodes in December. I went and binged a few day by day. No, I actually started watching it in November. Because I remember watching it during Thanksgiving, around Thanksgiving time. So yeah, there you have it. Well, anyway, for those who are not familiar with The Punisher, it's about this guy, Frank Castle. His family gets murdered, and he turns into a vigilante. He's an ex-Marine, and he turns into a vigilante. But what makes him different from, let's say, a Batman, is The Punisher kills. He kills all criminals, all bad guys. He's not leaving them for the cops to take to prison. And he's not rich like Batman, and he doesn't have the gadgets and the Batmobile and all that. Strictly guns. Your basic military type guns that you can get, that anybody could get, unfortunately. And I really like this series. He has the iconic logo. He's an iconic comic book character, because if you ever seen movies like American Sniper or 13 Hours, some of these movies that are based on actual events, you can see the logo sometimes on the vests of actual soldiers in those movies, on their tanks, on their gear. That logo is very known. It's a skull, but it's a uniquely shaped skull. And John Berthon, he plays Punisher in the series. You know, he's formerly known as Shane on The Walking Dead, and he does a great job playing Punisher. It's almost spot on casting. And you also has this guy the actor's name Ben Barnes, I believe, and he plays Billy Russo. And the guy that plays David, and then you have another guy who plays this guy named Curtis. Curtis is like the moral compass, the voice of reason for Frank Castle. And then you have Dave, who's like the dude in the chair, the guy in the chair. He's the technical whiz. He's the computer savvy person that helps the Punisher. And all those guys do a great job acting, especially the guy who plays Billy Russo. He does a great job. I don't really want to go into who he is and what he means to the series, because that would be spoiling it. But he did a great job. Can't express that enough. The only problem I had with one of the actors was this lady. I believe her name is Amber. That's her actual name. She plays an FBI agent. I thought she was just there. I thought she was, You know, my wife said she was just another pretty face. That's what she said. I thought she was average. I thought they could have got somebody better in that role. But, hey, it didn't hurt the series at all. And I thought this was the best Netflix Marvel series. And I love the Daredevil series. I love both seasons of Daredevil. But I thought this beat it. You know, you got Jessica Jones, which I thought was very good. Luke Cage was good. The first half of Luke Cage was good, then it kind of fell apart after one of the villains went away. And Iron Fist was just a disaster. That was trash. And I didn't like Defenders. But I think this Punisher series is the best. You also have, it deals with the PTSD condition in this, because you got former vets of war in the military. They deal with that issue. It has some slow moments. It's not just gun battle and fighting episode after episode. It has some episodes where there's no gunfighting at all, and they are still good episodes. This series doesn't even feel like something based off a comic book character. This is very grounded. You know, he doesn't have an outfit. You know, he has his logo on a bulletproof vest. He doesn't have a mask. He doesn't have no special powers. He's not a mutant. He doesn't, you know, he wasn't experimenting in a laboratory and got any crazy talents or gifts. It's just a guy that straight up wants revenge and wants to get rid of all the no-gooders. And they've made movies about the Punisher in the past. You know, you got the Dolph Lundgren joint that was, I don't even know why I mentioned that. That's trash. I like the Thomas James joint. That's the one where John Travolta was the villain. If you haven't seen that, I recommend that. That was pretty good. They had another one after that, which I thought was just okay. But none of those compared to this series. This series crushed all those movies, even the one I like. So you should definitely check that out on Netflix if you haven't. Now I'm going to go into this other Netflix series, Retribution. It's only 4 episodes. Oh, I give the Punisher an A. Only reason I ain't give him the A+, because I just want to see it again. And I probably would give it an A+ after watching it again. But the Punisher is an A grade. Definitely. Alright, going back to Retribution. Retribution, 4 episodes, is a series about this couple that gets murdered. And both sides of the family, through grieving and depression, you got all these dark family secrets that come out. Very dark. A lot of betrayal. And the acting is good across the whole cast. The series has many twists and turns. It's unpredictable. You never know really where the storylines are going. And me and my wife, I knew nothing about it beforehand. I just saw it on Netflix, clicked it and said, let me check this out. And me and my wife tried to stay up and watch all night, trying to watch all 4 episodes. Because the first episode is long. I think that's over an hour. It's that good. I'm going to give that an A-. I really like it. Check it out. Now you have a Showtime documentary series called Active Shooter, America Under Fire. It's 8 episodes. And it's a doc series about mass shootings. And that actually came on last year, like late last year. But I thought I would do the review, being that we just had another mass shooting last week in Florida. Well, maybe by the time this go online, it'll be 2 weeks from now, who knows. But we just had one recently in Florida, in that school. So this one breaks down and goes into details about 8 different mass shootings. And it's crazy to me that you can actually have a document series, 8 episodes for 8 different mass shootings. That's just crazy. And they left some mass shootings on the table so they can do a whole nother season. I think they did all this before you had the Las Vegas and the one in in the church in Texas. And now you got the one in Florida. So, not to mention there was other ones in the past they didn't even get to and touch on. So that's just crazy. That's just mind-blowing in itself. And this is becoming commonplace. And they go into whether it's acts of terrorism, hate crimes, or mental issues. They examine and go into detail each one. They got an episode on Columbine, Charleston, when that guy went to that church, Orlando, the club in Orlando, Oak Creek, which I think was like kind of like a mosque. And you had Washington D.C., the Navy Yard. You had they got one on the movie theater in Colorado, San Bernardino. Man, so. And there's another one I can't think on top what the other one is, but it's 8 episodes. I highly recommend it. It's on Showtime, so I know a lot of people have cut the cord and don't really have cable like that anymore. But I'm sure there's ways you can see it through streaming. So check that out. I highly recommend it. I know people don't want to watch something so depressing, but I thought I knew everything there was to know about Columbine because I seen Bowling for Columbine, this documentary that came out not a long time ago, but a little bit right after it happened. And I've seen several things on TV about Columbine. With this, I learned something new. I thought I knew everything about it, and I got some new information about Columbine, what went down at Columbine. So check that out if you can. I know people don't like to watch something so depressing, but I still highly recommend it. Now I'm gonna get to my last one. Word is Bond. This is a hip-hop documentary that's also on Showtime, but I'm sure there's other ways you can see it. This documentary is basically talking to different rap artists that are more lyrically inclined, that can rap basically. And it gets into how they write, where they get their inspiration from, how they structure the song, what's their whole process of making an album, making a song. It even goes into ghostwriting. You had the dynamic where the more new generation, the millennials, they okay with ghostwriting, but you talk to like guys my age, older guys, they discredit anybody, or just about most of them discredit anybody that has anybody writing for them. We know that's commonplace in R&B and rock and pop, but with hip hop, it's almost like that's like forbidden. Don't have nobody writing for you. So they even go into that. And they have interviews with Nas, Big Daddy Kane, J. Cole, Brother Ali, Royce the 5'9", Jadakiss, Styles P, Rhapsody, Tech 9, Rakim, Monfest. Goes on and on, and others. So I really highly recommend that. If you into hip hop, even if you're not into hip hop, I still think somebody who's just an average music listener will find it interesting. So check that out. And there you have it. I'm not used to talking this long. I don't see how people do it. I'm not a talker, but hope this ain't too long that you don't want to watch it. And I give Word is Bond a B+. Kind of remind me of the one that Ice-T did a documentary a few years ago called The Art of Rap. Kind of remind me of that. It has its differences, but well, anyway, there you have it. I'm done. I'm finished.